Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here for my regular Monday this and that vlog where I talk about many different topics, not just one like many of my other videos. But what I like to do is lead you back to any videos that I already have on how to make various things that are single topic videos. So I'll be putting any links that I already have to those specific videos in the description box down below. So don't forget to click on show more right down here in all caps below my channel name, or that little gray triangle or arrow right over here on this side if you're on a smart device. And that will open up the description box so you can find the links or any other information I'll be putting down there. So let's get started on the topics of today. Squash powder, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about because last year I grew spaghetti squash. I usually switch it up every year, like I'll grow spaghetti squash one year, maybe butternut another year. I always grow pumpkins. Anyway, last year I decided to dehydrate up all my spaghetti squash, all my pumpkins, including the pumpkin I'd frozen from previous years. Took it all out and dehydrated it and powdered it. Finally, I'd been meaning to do that for years. So the other night when I made dinner, I finally remembered the spaghetti squash powder that I had, and I pulled that out, and it's just so easy to cook up simply by adding some water. So I think when I did it, I did about 3 parts water to 1 part of the squash. And here's a photo of what it looked like before I even cooked it. You don't really even need to cook it. You just need to heat it through is all. Super easy. It rehydrates very quickly. And one thing I found about the spaghetti squash in particular is once I dried it and powdered it up, it gave it a more sweet flavor, which I thought was really interesting. And it was pretty good. So I'm going to be doing that with a lot of my squash now. It takes up less room in storage that way. I don't have to worry about them keeping in their whole form even in cold storage. Sometimes they can still spoil. So this is the way I'm going to be doing it with all my squash, be it butternut, pumpkin, spaghetti squash, you name it. Just like with the pumpkin powder, I've used it in making pumpkin cookies. I can't remember if I've actually made pumpkin pie with the powder yet, but I've done other things with the pumpkin. So that'll be one of the videos I'll be linking to down below, is the one I did on making squash powders and their uses. And then the other thing I think I'm going to put in the title, I can't put every topic in the title or it'd be too long, was I did invest in, you've probably seen the Kiziks shoes being advertised all over the place because they're kind of this new thing that's taking off. And I decided to go ahead and invest in some because I really need some good slip-on shoes, and I decided I really want to get away with any kind of mule style shoe or clog where you slip your foot in this way, but they can easily slip off, or your foot can slip off of them, because one of the issues I've been having in the garden more and more, especially out back where the chickens are, is they're always digging holes. And I tend to step in these holes and then my foot will slip off the shoe, and I don't want to twist my ankle again like I did last year. So I'm needing something that's more stable, that I'm not going to have to worry about that so much, and something that's going to stay on my foot if I need to start to run, because it's kind of hard sometimes running in any kind of clog type shoe. And something I can move quickly, climb up and down ladders without the shoes falling off of me. So I decided to give it a try, and I ordered up a pair of the Progs, and I didn't get them for free. I did try, but I didn't like the way their affiliate program works, so I just thought, no, I'll just buy them. But I was able through my Honey program, that's free, to sign up, and I'll put a link to that down below. And I was able to get a coupon for $12 off, plus you get 15% off your first order, and got a bunch of other discounts, so it worked out pretty good. And then you can also build up points that you can, if you like the shoes, when you build up those points by doing various things, even just by following their Facebook page or Twitter or whatever, then those points can apply towards a credit towards your next order. So anyway, I've had the shoes for a little better than a week, and I love them. They are so comfortable. Every time I slip my feet into them, they just feel so good. And I did wear them out to the property the other day just to try them out. I had just gotten them, and so I wanted to just see how they felt walking around on the property. Usually I wear my waterproof boots out there so I can traipse through the creek and stuff, but the only thing I can say about the Progs that I wasn't as happy with is that the tops of them are not waterproof, so they're not the best for walking through long wet grass. But other than that, I absolutely love them. But they do make a leather shoe that I ordered up, and I'm going to try that. That's called the Vegas. So I'm going to see how that works more to keep my feet a little bit drier for walking around in longer grass and so on. But anyway, I'll give you more updates on that, but I just wanted you to know that some people are probably really curious about it, but are concerned about the cost because they are kind of expensive shoe. But so far, just in the week that I've had mine, I'm right now keeping them by the front door, and I just slip my feet into them and go out and do my front yard gardening. And I want to get a pair for the back because my outside shoes stay outside shoes, and then I'll have inside shoes too. So I might get another pair or two and just start tossing some of my old shoes that are just starting to fall apart, especially the ones I wear around the house. They're getting pretty beat up and old. So I will be doing a more thorough update, and no, this isn't any kind of paid promotion. I'm just sharing with you that I'm trying them, and so far I'm really happy with them. So for those who are interested, you can actually hear this from a real person and know it's not a paid advertisement. I'll go ahead and put a link to their website down below, and I think the 15% off is if you actually sign up for email updates, then you can get that 15% off that first order. So yeah, anyway, yeah, check them out, see what you think. I noticed that they sell out real quickly of certain colors and styles, but they're supposed to be having more come in, and they're coming out with kids sizes, which I'm really excited about because typically I wear kids sizes. So that was the other thing, is the smallest size they have is a 6 in the adult, and I usually wear 5, 5.5, or a 4 to 4.5 in kids. So these are just a tad bit big, but they're comfortable. I was surprised. Sometimes I take a chance with 6. Sometimes my feet swim in them. Sometimes they fit perfect. It just depends on the shoe. And I would say the fit is pretty close to perfect. Just a little extra room at the end of the toe is all. But they don't slip around on my feet. So anyway, a couple other topics is I realized today how low I'm getting on my tooth powder, so I'm going to be making up a new batch of that today or tomorrow, and I'll link to my most recent video I did on my tooth powder. It's my favorite blend so far, but even though I keep it as a powder, I do also brush with coconut oil, so you can make this into a paste, mixing the coconut oil with the powder, and I do that sometimes I like to brush with just the powder though. That's why I don't keep them always blended together. Sometimes I brush with just coconut oil. I'm usually switching it up, but most commonly I do mix the two together. I just put a little coconut oil on my toothbrush and then dip that into the powder. And then I brush for a long time, so I'm kind of doing a combination of oil pulling and brushing all at once. And I've been using my own homemade tooth powder for many years and been very happy with the results, and then the modifications I've made through the years to make it even better. I had a subscriber who, just out of the kindness of her heart, sent me through Amazon 4 of these 1-gallon bale wire jars. So bale wire jars are nice. I actually have a bunch of Fido jars that another subscriber sent me quite a few years ago, and I love them. I use them for a lot of things, and the gallon size will be really nice for storing some of the grains or flours that I don't use as much of, where my bigger amounts where I'm stocking up in 50-pound bags, 25-pound bags, I put those in Mylar bags and then seal them up and then put them in buckets. And no, I don't even add oxygen absorbers to those anymore. I still think they're a waste of money. Just push out as much of the air as you can, seal it up with a flat iron, and that's the stuff I put away for long term. Or if they have a Ziploc, I don't use the flat iron. I just zip it real tight, make sure I'm pushing out all the air, and I get that zipper entirely zipped up all the way across. I go across it several times. But for the things like some of the gluten-free flours I like to keep on hand for when I'm making stuff for our friends who are gluten-free, then I would like to be able to put them in something that, obviously not a big bucket because I'm not storing that much, but I think that these jars will be perfect for storing those. And maybe some other grains too that I buy smaller amounts of at a time because I don't go through them that quickly. And then right here, I have some banana peel Mojito mint vinegar. So if you're new to my channel, I have a lot of vinegar making videos, a lot of them. And I'll link down below to my most recent, most thorough vinegar making video. And anyway, this one is banana peel and Mojito mint, and you can see it's nice and bubbly. Just started it recently. But what I do with the banana peels is every time Patrick eats a banana, he just leaves the peel out. I'll add it to the water with the sugar and just keep adding it. So you don't have to save up your banana peels You know, if you're not eating 5 bananas in one day, you don't have to save them up and then make the vinegar. Just start it. When I started this, 1 banana peel in there. And then I decided to go and put a handful of Mojito mint in there, as you can see in here. And I think there might be 5 banana peels in there right now. And that's about the limit that I will put in there. So when I do that, when I start it that way, I only put the water level up to about right here, because as I add to it, obviously it's going to make it more full. And then once I get all the stuff in there I want, then I might top it off with water. So what the reason for the Mojito mint is, one year one time I was making the banana peel vinegar, and I had all this, I always had tons of Mojito mint. It's the one mint that puts out the most for me. And I thought, why not just throw that in there just to see what happens? And what was really surprising to me is that when it was all done, it had the taste and smell of a store-bought lemon juice, like the real lemon juice. And it surprised the heck out of me. I'm like, oh my goodness, this will be perfect for using in salsas and various other things like that, where you usually add lemon juice to it, and where it adds flavor as well as helps to preserve it. So I keep doing that. Whenever I have banana peels, go ahead and add that Mojito mint in there, because something about that, it doesn't taste minty when it's done, but something about the Mojito mint and the banana peel mixture makes it taste like that, at least to me. You can see my rhubarb wine that I mentioned last week that I just started, and you'll notice it's a lot lighter pink. It's actually starting to darken up again. It's the rhubarb wine's funny. All wine will do this. It just depends on what fruit you're making it out of, but a lot of wines will do this. Your grape wines will do this too, where you'll see it get really pale and then it will darken up again during the fermentation process. But the rhubarb is where it stands out the most. So it gets super pale pink, almost white, and then it goes back to a darker color when it's all done. So then the other thing I wanted to mention was these candy jar lids that I had never heard of them before. Just like last year I got the 4 jars, or last winter or something, they 4 jars sent me a bunch. It was unsolicited. I didn't ask for these. I'd never heard of them before that. And I was a little skeptical about those because the 4 Jars brand is made in China. But a lot of people came in on the video where I mentioned them, said they work great for them. And I know there's a lot of cheap Chinese-made lids out there, so that's why I was skeptical at first. So I did try vacuum sealing with them. I will be doing some canning. I'm not into my canning season yet because things are so late, but I will be trying those. But right off the bat, and I'll be trying these too. There's 2 things I like about these better than the 4 jars, just right off the bat and inspecting them. And that is, these are US made. They're not made in China. And these are actually thicker. They have a thicker layer here, the sealing layer. The lid itself is thicker. And so I thought, well, what I'll do is go ahead and pull out my scales and I'm going to weigh it. And there was a definite difference in weight between these and the 4 Jars lids and the ball lids as well. I didn't test a Kerr lid because they're all the same, but the ball and the 4 Jars lids weigh exactly the same. If you're talking about the regular mouth, it's 0.21 ounce. But in this, it's 0.25. And then I saw the same difference when, I can't remember what the numbers were, when I weighed out these. I think the ball lids / 4 Jars lids were 0.28 and these ones were 0.35. It's called Superb brand. And so anyway, made here in the US, so already I can tell they're going to just be better lids in general. And my guess is they probably not only will seal easier, but will hold a seal longer. Because ball lids and Kerr, they're not made as good as they used to be. I suspect that they're all actually made in China now anyway, but these are actually made in the US. So we'll see. I'll give you an update on these down the road. Now again, I'm not an affiliate with them. I didn't ask for this. They just showed up in our mailbox. So I thought, well, we'll give them a try and see. So I did vacuum seal 1 jar, and it was easy. It's sealed up super easy. It's holding quite well. Okay, so let's update on the collaborations going on. So we have the fermentation collaboration going on, and what that is, if you're new, is I'm gathering up photos from people who have been following my channel and doing any kind of fermentation based off my instructional videos, like making a starter, making wine, making natural soda, making vinegar, making kimchi, whatever it is, and taking photos of what they've done and then sending them to me at raincountryyhomestead@gmail.com. And by the way, I'll probably add your name to the photo unless you say you don't want your name in there. I'll be adding your name to the photo. It's a lot of work doing the name and the picture and all that, but I think it's fair. You know, everybody wants a little bit of credit for the hard work that they do and for what they've learned. It's always kind of fun to share that with other people. And I'm really liking this whole collaboration idea. We did the craft one. So that one will be coming out, I think, this week. I think it's coming out later this week, if not next week. I don't remember the date now, but maybe I think it's next week. And then, so it'll probably be a good month before the other one comes out. It's going to take me time to gather the images and then put them together into a video. And then the other collaboration still in process is the quilt collaboration, the Rain Country Crazy Quilt. I did get another square in, and it's beautiful. I love it. But I do want to remind everybody, especially if you haven't seen my video where I went into more detail, they are 10-inch squares. And whatever design you want to put on there, but I want you to, but please make sure that the square is completely finished. So it's got the backing and the batting and it's quilted together. So that will save me some steps. I'm making a keepsake basically for myself from anyone who sews and quilts and wants to be a part. Again, it's just, I thought it would be a fun collaboration. There's no requirement to be a part. But to help save me the extra time and labor, please make sure it's got the batting in there, just a regular thin batting, and the backing, and that it's already quilted. So all I have to do is put the squares together, because it's gonna be a crazy quilt, but I'm gonna also do it in a rag style. I just haven't decided yet if I'm gonna have the ends come out the back or the front. It'll depend once I see it all laid out and put together. But I think it will be a fun quilt, and again, a keepsake for me. And it's going to be a while before I get enough to even make a lap quilt. I actually decided, instead of a queen size quilt, since I have plenty of quilts on our beds, I would rather have a lap quilt for using out in the living room or in our game room, and something where everybody can see it too. So I think I'd like that better. So I think I'm only going to need about somewhere at least 42 squares. I keep forgetting to go back and figure it out. It's at least 42 to 48 squares for that. And again, 10 inch completed squares. Okay, moving on, let's talk a little bit about the garden, especially since I won't have a garden tour video coming out this Wednesday, because I decided I really want to get Patrick's swing video up. So he made that swing. Oh, by the way, when I was talking earlier about the Kiziks, I showed that little video clip of me swinging. That's the shoes right there. And I'll put it again right here so you can see it. So those are the Kiziks, and that's the swing that Patrick made. And he's making 3 of them for the property. He's still got to finish the other 2. And anyway, so he put a video together making that video. I wanted to get together and get it out right away because I thought it was kind of fun. So Wednesday you'll see that. So no tour this week, but I want to talk a little bit about some garden things, other garden things going on. The back deck is looking beautiful with the grapevines all around. My blueberries, not getting many blueberries this year, but that seems to be par for the course here. Even my neighbor behind us is having the same issues. But my blueberries, or plants as a whole, are actually looking healthier this year than they did last year. So that's a good sign. Maybe next year they'll do better. And I'm still pretty serious about taking them out of the pots and finally getting them into the ground, because they've been in the pots for like 8 years. But anyway, they're filling out, and that's the good thing. I'm seeing lots of new growth. I'm starting to see some flowers on the beans here on the deck that are growing around my honeysuckle. My corn is finally the height that should have been at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of July. So hopefully we'll actually get some corn off of it. Tomatoes are doing great. So they're at that point now where I start stripping off them lower leaves, so that not only can it get a lot more air and sunlight through there, and because they only need those upper leaves really to catch the sun, it'll also put more energy into making the tomatoes. So I'm finally starting to see some little tomatoes. And again, if you're new and you don't understand, we're always farther behind than a lot of other people, especially people in the South that are already collecting their tomatoes and making sauce. But we're even farther behind this year than usual. So a lot of our annuals are at least a month behind, even our potatoes, and potatoes grow great here. But and our snow peas, another thing that does great here, at least a month behind on all these. Beans, all of the annuals. But most of my herbs are right on time. Some of them are farther behind, like my echinacea, but all my mints are doing good, especially Mojito mint. I don't think anything can kill that. So it's a great mint to have, because peppermint can get crowded out and die by dandelions, grass, and creeping buttercup. All these things can crowd out your peppermint, but I've never had problems with peppermint crowding out my other plants. So I let it grow where it wants to, and I don't care. Our blackberries that grow in that section between the deck and the greenhouse, I forgot to mention them when I was doing the back deck tour, but we have a section there where we have blackberries growing. And last year we didn't get any blackberries because we had the blackberries in a pot at first, even though they were starting to grow through the pot and starting to come up in other areas. Well, last year, early spring, Patrick pulled that pot up and broke the plant off, but he needed to move it, and it was important that it got moved. And so I didn't get any blackberries last year, which was fine. We can always go pick blackberries in the wild, and out on our other piece of property as well. Now I've got a lot of shoots coming up everywhere out there, and so we're just going to turn that into a little blackberry patch and do away with the pot. So next year he'll probably break that pot off of there again, and then take whatever's in there and then plant it out of the pot and plant it out at the property. Because the nice thing about those blackberries out there is they get bigger than the Himalayans, which are the best blackberries out here, and the Himalayans are the worst for the thorns. The evergreens have really tiny thorns, but they also have smaller berries that don't taste as good. But these thornless ones, they are nice berries, they taste good, and they get massive. So here's a picture from a couple years ago. But anyway, I'm getting berries this year. I'm not going to get a ton this year because basically a lot of the plants out there are new. But I'm getting some. So anyway, there's just a brief run through on the garden and what's going on out there. And so next week I will do another garden tour, but I will also keep you updated on various little things from all the gardens around here in each of my this and that videos as we go along. Tell us what's happening on your homestead. Even if you have an apartment homestead with some plants growing in your window, share with us how things are coming along. All right, well, thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.